Hi there, this is David, and welcome to today's video, brought to you by Idea Factory, highlighting Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters, to be released for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC on January 24th. Before we begin, I would like to thank Idea Factory for a free copy of the game for review. And if you want to support the channel as well as purchase the game, there is a link that you can click in the comments to buy it for yourself. As a connoisseur of JRPGs myself, I of course have been aware of this series for quite a long time. It has been around since the PS3 era after all. And my only real experience and exposure was Hyperdimension Neptunia MK2 years ago. However, I have been known to give series second chances. After all, I did pick up Atelier last year and I really enjoyed it. So maybe Neptunia has gotten better over the years too. Let's find out. The game opens with an epic battle between the goddesses, over on the faraway PC continent. And while they're away, Nepgear and the other candidates were sent to investigate an abandoned laboratory. Only there they found the Ashen Goddess, who trapped them into a deep 2-year slumber. And by the time that they awoke, the relevance of consoles had passed, and the R-phone dominated the market. With Neptune missing and the PC continent vanished, Planet Poon is now ravaged by monsters called the Trendy Outbreaks, sent by none other than the Trendsetters. As you can see, this is a not so thinly veiled allegory on the current state of gaming, with each of the goddess candidates representing their respective consoles and the R-phone obviously being the iPhone. So it is your job to put down the threat from those trend influencers and the plague of mobile gaming. How apropos. The game is essentially divided up into 3 distinct modes: talking amongst your party members, exploring dungeons, and then battling. And while this has been billed as a great introduction to the Neptunia series, I will say that I was a little bit confused for the first few minutes because it did throw a bunch of characters into my face that I didn't know. But immediately following like the first 5 minutes, the game did a great job of setting the groundwork for all of your main characters. They talk amongst themselves though, incessantly. Sometimes I feel like talking is the scourge of modern gaming, and worse yet, they talk in a visual novel style. And more often than not, it's about things that don't really matter, such as what flavor pudding they're going to have for dessert tonight. I don't care about your pudding. And because of conversations like this, I found myself skipping quite a bit of the cutscenes. Though, to Idea Factory's credit, there is an option of English or Japanese voice acting here. It's amazing that this game can have English voice acting, while some other big-budget games can't. After the obligatory visual novel scenes, you're sent out to the world map where you can choose your next destination. Mandatory areas are highlighted in red, optional in blue. You're also given the percentage of each dungeon that you've explored, as well as how many treasures that you've collected there. You can then also fast travel to any save points that you visited straight from the world map. And it's also here that you can see the goddess indicator, which shows how much of the populace still follows the console goddesses and how many follow the R-phone. Dungeon exploration is nothing too special. You're given a pretty linear path to explore with a few branching paths and treasures here and there. There is a mini-map as well as a larger map, so it's really easy to find your way around. However, once you've done one dungeon, you've done them all. They all pretty much progress the exact same way. You go as far as you can till you see a door. Then you go off the beaten path to hit the switch, which opens the door. Then you step on the warp point to warp back to the door and you move on. Every once in a while though, veering here or there, you will climb a ladder, jump up a hill, cross a bridge, or grab a chest. That's about it. And while I would like to say that the dungeons were graphically impressive, they weren't. They look like something straight out of the PS3. And just for reference, this was recording on my PS5. Of the dungeons though, I do think that the most egregious offense was that many of them felt copy and pasted. Not only are you doing the same thing over and over again, hitting up switches to open up doors, but I cannot tell you how many times I would go through an area and I would think to myself, haven't I been here already? And then I checked my map, only to realize, no, this is a brand new hallway. Only it looks exactly like the previous hallway that I just went through, down to the exact same enemy and treasure placements. While you're all frolicking through these dungeons, you're going to encounter all sorts of enemies, so of course, you gotta smack them into submission. Encounters occur on screen and take place on the field, and this is what really sets the game apart from all the others in the franchise, because it's actually an action RPG now. You fight in groups of 3 using the square button to initiate 4-hit combos, with each hit taking up a portion of your AP, and once your AP is depleted, you're going to want to switch to one of your other party members and then attack with them. Over time, your energy gauge will also fill, which will then unleash your super move with the triangle button, dealing a whole lot more damage. In order to really be successful here though, you're going to have to learn to swap your characters around constantly, especially whenever a chain indicator comes on the screen. To do so, simply use the shoulder buttons to switch between the girls, and then try to keep the combos running. If you do it successfully, you'll be able to deal a ton of additional damage and then pull off longer chains. All told, I felt that the combat system was actually really kind of fun. It was definitely the highlight of the game, but at the same time, it still needed some polish. It was clunky, to say the least. Every time an enemy died, the screen paused, and every time you swapped your characters, the screen paused. There also seemed to be a delay between entering attacks and then having them actually register. It seems like a good idea on paper. I mean, you can move around and you can dodge attacks, but there's no button to guard, or roll, or any kind of real evasion. It's just so basic, I was kind of shocked that there wasn't more to it. The battle system just could have used a little bit more time in the oven to really stew and become something special, because there is a glimmer of greatness there, but it's just not realizing its full potential. After a couple of hours, you're going to get access to a bunch of side quests through the use of Chirper, or Twitter, where you can take on bounties to defeat specific enemies, collect items, or search for lost people. You can also use it to just kind of see what everybody's up to. By completing the quests, people might actually join your research team to help develop discs, which you can then use to further power up and customize your girls. Not to mention all the accessories that you can put on them to change up their looks. No one here is safe from the parodies, even me. Apparently in this world, people on YouTube are called VTubers, and the main one here featured is called I Need a Job. I know. It kinda reminds me of Bart Simpson prank calling Moe's Tavern, but whatever. Never mind the fact that I'm a full-time teacher and I pretty much produce content online full-time as well, but sure, I need a job. Thanks, that's lovely. Overall, I did actually have fun with my time here, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't my thing. However, I did gain a deeper understanding as to why some people might enjoy this type of game, and that is my job here, to bring games to light to a bigger audience that you might not have heard before. And if you like what you see here, be sure to click on the affiliate link down below to purchase the game and support the channel at the same time. So, I do hope that you enjoyed my spotlight of Neptunia's Sisters vs. Sisters, brought to you by Idea Factory, and you also may consider picking this up tomorrow, January the 24th. If you like this video and want to hear on the channel, please consider following me on Twitter, supporting me on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.